Assalamu alaikum. No chicken, no beef, no milk, no cheese, no cake, no biscuits, no Mars, no Twix, no biryani, not even bunny. For over a week now, we've been restricting ourselves from food and water throughout the daylight hours. And the question is why? Allah says in the Quran that fasting is prescribed upon us so that we may become people of taqwa. So this whole month of Ramadan is all about becoming people of taqwa and people that are closer to Allah. So we want to enter the month in a certain way, but by the time that the month finishes, we have to be people that are closer to Allah. So what is this word taqwa? Now the way I want to explain it is using the Staples Corner flyover, because as you all know, the flyover is quite wide, and when you get on there you feel like putting your foot down, but the speed limit is only 30 miles per hour. So imagine that you're actually on the flyover, you're in a nice car and you're putting your foot down and you're doing some speed, and you get close to the end of the flyover, and suddenly in the corner of your eye you see a policeman standing there with a speed gun. What happens to your heart? What happens to your mind, right? Suddenly you put the brakes on, you slow down, and you think, oh no, Ya Allah, did this guy see me? Did he catch me? Does he know how much speed I'm doing? Is he going to stop me? And your whole body and your whole being becomes very, very aware and conscious of the policeman. And so taqwa is very similar to this, is that when we go about our daily lives, we actually have this consciousness and awareness that Allah is watching us, right? And so whatever we do, we have to make sure that we are pleasing Him with our actions and that we are not making Him angry because we're doing things that He doesn't like. So if you look at this month, you'll find that you've already increased your taqwa. And if you think about it, that's only been done because you're fasting. An example of this is a friend of mine who was asked by some non-Muslims that he worked with that while you're fasting, do you ever just sip some water or eat a tiny bit of food when no one's watching? And my friend, he didn't really get the question. But what the non-Muslim was saying is that, look, nobody's watching you, nothing's happening, so why don't you just eat or drink secretly, right? But they don't have the concept of taqwa that you have and I have, that we don't eat or drink during the day because we know that Allah's watching us. So there's no point eating or drinking because Allah knows. So that means that you already have increased your taqwa. You're more aware of Allah throughout the day because you don't eat and drink. And so this is a big lesson for us, that the way we become closer to Allah, the way we have more taqwa is very simple. We just have to increase the good deeds we're doing. So good deeds like giving charity, like reading Quran, like making dua, like going to Taraweeh, all these wonderful actions that we can do, just as we keep doing them bit by bit, you'll find that you actually become closer to Allah. So for this week, I'd like us to increase the amount of dua that we make. Dua is something that's amazing. It's calling upon Allah and connecting and talking to Allah in a very, very personal way. One of the great things about it is that no one ever has to know that you're making dua. And we have so many things going on in our lives. We have hardships and difficulties, and then all the things that we want and all the things that we need. And really the truth is that the only one that can give us all of these things is Allah. So we want to focus on speaking to Allah and asking Allah for all of these things, because Allah is not like human beings. Human beings, if you go to someone and ask them for £10, they might give it to you the first time. The second time they'll be like, well, again, then they'll give it to you again. And there'll be a few people who'll give it a few times. But after 10 or 15 times of asking, the people are going to be really upset with you. With Allah, it's exactly the opposite. The more that you ask from Allah, the happier Allah gets with you. And of course, the more He'll give you as well. So the real encouragement for today is keep making dua, keep making dua, and keep making dua. Jazakallah khair for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.